In a world full of noise, where everyone is vying for attention, there is a rare breed of individuals who understand the silent power that lies within silence itself. You see, success isn't built on endless chatter. It's built on quiet, disciplined action. There's a saying that's often overlooked: the loudest noise in the world is the one you make when you don't need to. The more you speak about your dreams before they've been realized, the more you lose energy, momentum, and focus. Every word spoken about a dream, a goal, or a vision before it's built is like throwing fuel into an open flame, feeding it with things not yet forged in reality. Let's take a step back and think about it. Why do you feel the need to announce your plans before they are even in motion? Why do you let others into your sacred space before you've even planted the seed of your ideas? And most importantly, why do you speak of things you haven't even built yet? These are questions that we must address if we are to understand the immense strength that comes from silence. In this first part, let's explore the concept of silence, not as a lack of words but as a powerful strategy, a tool that allows you to focus, protect, and build. Imagine a ship trying to sail through rough waters. If it had its sails down before the wind was right, it would only get caught in the storm, going nowhere. But when the time is right, and the sails are raised with precision, it surges forward with unstoppable force. This is what silence does for your dreams. It prepares you to move when the time is right, without wasting energy on unnecessary noise. The first rule of achieving greatness is to stop announcing your every move. You must learn to protect your energy and your ideas. Too often, we speak of things that aren't yet ready to be shared, giving others the opportunity to judge them before they've had a chance to grow. This creates a vulnerability in our process, a weakness that allows others' opinions to influence our drive. Now, think about this: every time you announce your plan too early, you are inviting external noise into your vision. Whether it's a well-meaning friend or a curious acquaintance, their words can carry doubts and criticisms that weaken your belief in your own ability to follow through. The moment you share an idea before it's fully realized, you dilute its power, and slowly but surely, the spark of inspiration fades. Silence, however, allows you to build in peace. It gives you the room to develop your craft without distraction. True kings, leaders, and visionaries know that power is not shown through words, it's demonstrated through action. They don't shout about what they will do. They do it, quietly, persistently, and with focus. Take a moment to consider some of the world's most successful figures. Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents in American history, did not boast of his plans to change the nation while in the midst of his struggle. He worked in silence, writing speeches in his private quarters, organizing his thoughts with no audience other than himself and his deepest purpose. He didn't seek validation from the crowd, he sought clarity from within. The same principle applied to Thomas Edison. He didn't announce his experiments to the world every time he failed. No. He kept his vision close, pushing forward even when others mocked him. His silence was not weakness, it was his strength. It was his dedication to his work, to the belief that if he kept going, he would eventually find the answer. So, why do we feel the need to speak before we've finished? The answer is simple: we seek approval. We want others to see us as capable, as worthy, as important. But true success is not measured by how many people acknowledge you before you finish, it's measured by the results you produce when you're done. In the silence, you are not seeking approval. You are simply building, with purpose, with precision, and with a commitment to yourself and your goals. You must understand this: silence is not passive. It is active, dynamic, and full of power. It is the soil where dreams are planted and nourished, unseen by the world, but thriving in your inner world. This is where the true work begins, when no one is watching, when no one is asking for updates, when it's just you and your vision. But here's the catch: silence does not mean doing nothing. It's not about withdrawing completely from the world. It's about working on your dreams quietly, without the need to announce them prematurely. When the time is right, when the work is complete, your results will speak for themselves. And they will speak louder than any words you could ever say. So, from this moment, begin to practice the art of silence. Hold your purpose like sacred fire, nurturing it in the dark until it is ready to be revealed to the world. Do not rush to share your plans with others. Do not seek applause before the work is done. The true measure of your success will not be in how loudly you speak but in how powerfully your actions speak when the time is right. You've learned that silence is a tool for power, a shield that protects your vision as it grows in the darkness. But there's more to silence than just holding your tongue. There's a deeper understanding to be gained here, the danger of announcing your plans too early. When you speak about things that haven't yet been built, you don't just risk losing your energy, you risk losing your focus, your sense of purpose, and, ultimately, your success. Think about a time when you were excited about a new idea or a goal, and you couldn't wait to share it with others. Perhaps it was an exciting project at work, a personal ambition, or a creative endeavor. You told someone close to you, and their response wasn't exactly what you expected. Maybe they doubted your ability, maybe they laughed, or maybe they simply didn't understand. What happened next? That initial spark of excitement begins to fade, and self-doubt creeps in. Your energy, once brimming with enthusiasm, suddenly starts to wane. You start second-guessing yourself. Instead of feeling motivated and driven, you feel disheartened and discouraged. This is the power of premature announcement. When you speak before you're ready, you open the door to external opinions, opinions that you cannot control. These opinions, no matter how well-intentioned, can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. And once those seeds are planted, they can take root and grow, slowly eroding your confidence and your determination. The moment you speak of an unfinished vision, you give others the opportunity to question it, criticize it, or dismiss it entirely. You invite them to share their perspectives, and if you're not grounded in your own belief, their doubts can become yours. It's human nature to seek validation from others. But you must resist the temptation. Seeking validation from people who have not yet seen the full scope of your vision is like seeking approval from a crowd that has never been to your performance. They can't see the potential, and they certainly cannot understand the depth of your work. But when you share your unfinished ideas too soon, you risk allowing their unqualified judgments to affect your work. There's another danger in announcing your plans prematurely. You begin to lose the motivation to actually complete them. You might feel, after sharing your vision with others, that you've already done part of the work. Speaking about your plans can trick your mind into thinking the work is already done. This is the psychological phenomenon known as premature satisfaction. You speak about your goals, and because others acknowledge them, you begin to feel that the recognition itself is enough. You've planted the seed in someone else's mind, and you start to believe the work is already accomplished. But remember this, words are not action. The secret to real progress lies in quiet execution. The act of moving in silence, of building without external validation, is what propels you forward. When no one is watching, you are free to make mistakes, adjust, and experiment. You can fail without the fear of judgment, and you can learn from your failures without the pressure of an audience. It's in the silence that you truly grow. Consider the great inventors and thinkers throughout history. Men like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford didn't seek approval before they completed their groundbreaking work. Edison spent years experimenting with electricity, failing over and over again. But did he rush to announce his failures to the world? No. He understood that his journey was his alone, and he let his work speak for itself when the time came. Similarly, Henry Ford didn't announce his plans to revolutionize the automobile industry to a room full of skeptics. He kept his vision to himself, refining it quietly until it was ready to be revealed to the world. This is where true mastery lies. It lies in the ability to stay focused on the task at hand without seeking validation from the outside world. The journey of creation is deeply personal. It requires you to trust yourself, your process, and your ability to build something meaningful in silence. It's about being disciplined enough to resist the urge to announce your every move, and instead, invest your energy into actual work. When you withhold your plans and ambitions from the world, you preserve the sanctity of your vision. You protect it from unnecessary interference, from the doubts and distractions that can weaken it. You preserve your energy for what matters most, building, refining, and executing. Now, let's look at this through the lens of discipline. Discipline is what separates the builders from the talkers. It's easy to talk about what you're going to do. It's easy to tell others about your vision. But the truly disciplined individuals are the ones who focus on their work, not their words. They understand that true power is built in silence, and they're willing to endure the hard, unseen work required to bring their visions to life. So, moving forward, remember this: your success lies in your ability to execute in silence. Don't let the desire to share your progress with the world distract you from the real work. Keep your ideas protected, keep your energy focused, and let your results speak louder than anything you could ever say. In the first two parts, we discussed the importance of silence and why premature announcements can weaken your potential. Now, let's dive deeper into why silence is not just a tool for focus, but a protector of power, a shield that safeguards your energy, vision, and creativity. When you move in silence, you give yourself the space to think deeply, to create without distraction, and to work through problems without the noise of outside influences. In the early stages of any endeavor, your energy is at its most vulnerable. It's raw, untamed, and susceptible to being diluted by external opinions. You don't want to expose your fledgling ideas to the winds of judgment before they've had the chance to fully develop. Like a seed sprouting in the earth, your goals need time to grow beneath the surface before they are ready to stand in the light. Think about the process of planting a tree. You wouldn't dig up a sapling to show it off before its roots have settled in the soil. That would only damage it. Similarly, your dreams and ambitions need to establish their roots in your subconscious mind, and only then can they begin to take shape. Premature exposure of your vision before it's rooted in your core will only weaken it. Silence helps you nurture your dreams in private, where they are safe from criticism and doubt. The process of creation often involves vulnerability and trial and error. The last thing you need is for someone else's negativity to sap your energy. When you are still developing your ideas, the opinions of others are often based on their own limitations and experiences, not yours. They cannot see your vision in its entirety because they haven't walked the path you are walking. This is why, in the early stages of your journey, it's essential to protect your vision from unnecessary exposure. Your energy is precious, and every moment you spend talking about your dreams is a moment you are not spending on making them a reality. Speaking too much can deplete your reserves. Words, while powerful, can often be draining. Each time you speak, you pour your energy into the conversation. And, unless you're speaking with purpose, you are often left feeling empty afterward. Silence, on the other hand, conserves your energy and strengthens your resolve. Think about how much energy it takes to maintain focus in a world full of distractions. We live in a society that constantly demands our attention, whether it's through social media, conversations, or notifications. Every time you announce your plans, you invite distraction into your life. Others will want to know how things are going, what you've been up to, or what your next move is. This might seem harmless at first, but every interruption takes a little more of your focus away from your work. And soon, without realizing it, you've lost momentum. When you speak, you don't just invite feedback, you invite interruptions. The world is filled with noise, opinions, suggestions, expectations, and demands. And if you are not careful, it becomes all too easy to get lost in other people's agendas. The moment you speak about your plans prematurely, you give others permission to intrude into your space, and this dilutes your ability to execute with power. In silence, you create a buffer between your vision and the external world. The longer you hold your plans close to you, the more you strengthen them. You begin to build momentum in isolation, without anyone else's judgment or distraction. This is the only way to create with clarity and purpose. Consider the lives of some of the greatest figures in history, people like Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Carnegie, and Thomas Edison. These individuals understood the importance of protecting their vision through silence. Lincoln didn't announce his plans for the future of the country to the public until he was ready to make real progress. He kept his ideas close to his chest until he had shaped them into something strong enough to stand on its own. His silence was a form of protection. Similarly, Andrew Carnegie spent years building his empire in silence, making strategic moves behind closed doors. He didn't seek applause or validation from the masses. He focused on his work, trusting that when the time was right, his results would speak louder than any words ever could. Silence allowed Carnegie to protect his focus, power, and vision. And then there's Edison. How many people mocked him during his countless failed experiments before the light bulb finally worked? He didn't tell the world about every failure. He kept his focus on the goal and ignored the noise around him. Edison understood that in silence, true mastery is cultivated. This is the power of silence. It allows you to build your vision without interference. It allows you to create in solitude, to experiment and fail without the burden of judgment. It protects your energy, preserves your momentum, and builds strength in your subconscious. You are not here to entertain the world with your plans. You are here to build them in quiet confidence, so that when they are ready to be revealed, they are undeniable. Your silence is your greatest weapon. It shields you from distractions and keeps you focused on what truly matters, the work. When you guard your vision with silence, you preserve its integrity. You don't let anyone else's doubts or opinions penetrate the fortress of your will. And when your work is ready to be revealed, it will speak for itself, louder than any words you could have said in the beginning. In the previous part, we explored how silence acts as a shield, protecting your power and energy. Now, let's talk about how silence helps you build momentum. It's one thing to have an idea, but it's another to take consistent action toward it without letting external noise slow you down. Momentum is the engine that drives success, and silence is the fuel that keeps it going. Momentum is a powerful force. Once it starts, it's difficult to stop. But the key is to get it moving without distraction. When you work in silence, you're not just avoiding interference, you're allowing yourself to stay in the zone of deep, uninterrupted focus. Each step you take, no matter how small, is another brick in the foundation of your success. And every time you take action without being distracted by unnecessary conversations or external opinions, you strengthen the momentum that will eventually propel you to success. The most successful people in history didn't get to where they are by talking about their goals. They got there by doing, by working silently day in and day out, building their ideas, and learning from their mistakes. They did not wait for approval, and they did not seek validation. They moved forward, one step at a time, knowing that success would speak for itself when the time was right. Think about how a snowball forms. It starts small, but as it rolls, it gathers more snow, and the momentum builds. The more it rolls, the faster it gets, and the more it picks up. This is the power of momentum, and silence allows that snowball to grow without interference. Every time you resist the urge to speak about your goals prematurely, every time you take action without seeking external validation, you are building that snowball of momentum, making it bigger and faster. One thing to understand about momentum is that it doesn't need to be perfect at first. You don't have to wait until everything is lined up perfectly before taking action. The key is to begin. And that's where silence plays a critical role. By not speaking about your plans, you allow yourself to make mistakes in private and learn from them without fear of judgment. The act of taking consistent action, day after day, is the core of building momentum. You might not see results immediately, and that's okay. The key is not to let the impatience or curiosity of others pull you out of your focus. The process of creation is slow. It is deliberate. It requires patience and perseverance. When you work in silence, you create a space where that patience can thrive. You give yourself the time to learn and improve without the pressure of external expectations. A person who is constantly speaking about their plans is often forced to justify their actions before the results come in. This can create pressure to act quickly, to prove that you're making progress, which can ultimately hinder the creative process. When you keep your vision to yourself, you free yourself from that external pressure. You can take your time, fail, learn, and grow without worrying about proving anything to anyone. You're building momentum without distraction. Think about Steve Jobs and Apple. Jobs didn't announce every product or every innovation before it was ready. Instead, he and his team worked in silence, behind the scenes, carefully crafting something that would eventually change the world. The unveiling of each new Apple product wasn't a series of announcements, it was a moment of triumph. The work spoke for itself. The momentum of Apple's success was built in silence, without the constant need for validation from the public. In the same way, J.K. Rowling didn't share every idea for Harry Potter with the world before she finished writing the books. She wrote, edited, and perfected her creation in solitude. When the books were ready to be published, they became a phenomenon, not because she spoke about them in advance, but because the work was complete and powerful. Her momentum was built in silence. Momentum grows stronger in silence because silence eliminates the distractions of self-doubt and external noise. The world doesn't need to know what you're doing, it just needs to see the results. Every time you speak about what you're working on before it's ready, you weaken the momentum that could carry you to success. Momentum is fragile at first. Once you start speaking, you introduce potential distractions, doubts, and expectations into your process, which can slow down or even stop your momentum in its tracks. Think about an artist working on a masterpiece. Would they show their half-finished painting to the world and ask for feedback? No, they would continue working in silence, focusing on their craft. Their silence is what allows them to create freely, without interruption or outside influence. The same goes for your goals. The longer you can build in silence, the greater the momentum you will create. In the beginning, you may not see the results, but trust the process. Build in silence, take small, deliberate actions, and keep going. Momentum will eventually find its way to you, and when it does, it will carry you further than you could have ever imagined. In this part, we dive deeper into one of the most significant challenges every creator faces on their journey: doubt. The more you speak about your goals, the more you expose yourself to doubt. Not just from others, but from your own mind as well. In the world of noise and constant feedback, doubt becomes one of the biggest obstacles to progress. But silence, when embraced, can be the most powerful tool in overcoming this challenge. Doubt thrives in uncertainty, and the more you speak about something, the more room you give for others to question your abilities, your plans, and your potential. The moment you announce your goal before it is rooted, you invite unnecessary opinions into the process. Even well-meaning advice can be a source of doubt. People will tell you what they think is possible, based on their own experiences, fears, or limited perspectives. But silence allows you to protect your vision and fortify your belief. The more you keep your plans to yourself, the more your subconscious mind will solidify the vision, as you're not distracted by outside forces. By staying silent, you protect your creative process from external criticism and internal fear, giving you space to believe in yourself and the work you're doing. When you speak too early, you run the risk of losing your confidence. You open yourself up to judgment, to opinions, and sometimes even to ridicule, all of which can shake your inner belief. Silence, however, keeps you in a position of strength. It allows you to focus on your work, to continue shaping it, and to reinforce your faith in your vision. Doubt often emerges when we share too much before we're ready. The human mind is designed to question the unknown. If you talk about your dream without concrete evidence, your own mind will start doubting it. You will ask yourself, what if this doesn't work? What if I'm wasting my time? These questions arise because you've invited uncertainty into the equation by sharing your goal too early. But when you keep your goals to yourself and work quietly toward them, you protect your confidence and allow your vision to grow stronger in solitude. It's only when you stop sharing the seeds of your dream with others that they can begin to take root deep inside you. This is where true belief begins, within your mind, unshaken by external interference. Henry Ford, for example, didn't announce his plans for the automobile to the world before he was ready. He faced skepticism and doubt from many of his contemporaries. But Ford didn't allow himself to get distracted by that noise. He kept his vision focused and pursued it relentlessly, working in silence and building belief in himself as he went. Thomas Edison faced an enormous amount of failure and doubt throughout his journey. Yet he didn't share his plans for the light bulb with the world until it was a reality. Edison's silence allowed him to continue working through failure without the burden of constant public scrutiny. He believed in himself and the process, knowing that silence was key to overcoming doubt and moving forward. We can also look at Oprah Winfrey, whose rise to success is often a testament to overcoming doubt. Before she became the media mogul we know today, Oprah faced criticism, skepticism, and personal doubt. But she didn't share her dreams with everyone. She quietly built her empire, and when the time was right, her results spoke louder than any word ever could. Oprah knew that silence protects belief. Silence doesn't mean inaction. On the contrary, it allows you to take deliberate, focused actions without being distracted by the external world. It helps you avoid the trap of constantly explaining yourself to others. The more you talk, the less room you leave for doubt to dissipate. And in this silence, you allow your vision to build momentum and grow stronger. But when doubt creeps in, the key is to stay quiet and keep working. Don't share your plan with anyone until it's real, until it's something concrete that you can point to. That way, you'll never have to explain yourself. The work will speak for itself. The results will answer any doubts. When you stay silent, you are building not only your vision but your resilience against doubt. You are reinforcing your faith and belief in your own power. It is in silence that you cultivate the inner strength to push through challenges and keep going, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Silence allows you to shield yourself from the opinions of others and the noise that surrounds you. It gives you the space to develop your ideas fully before they are exposed to the world. You don't have to explain why you're doing something. You don't need to justify your every move. The most successful people in history didn't waste time explaining their process. They focused on the work, and when the time was right, the results spoke for themselves. As you continue building in silence, your belief will grow stronger, your doubt will fade, and your vision will become undeniable. And in time, the world will see what you've built, and they will understand that silence wasn't a weakness, it was your strength. In this section, we explore resilience, the ability to push forward when faced with obstacles, distractions, and the pressure of the outside world. Silence becomes the ultimate tool for fostering resilience. By staying quiet about your goals, you allow yourself to fortify your will and grow stronger in the face of challenges. The road to success is never easy, and resilience is what separates those who make it from those who give up. It's not the lack of obstacles that defines success but the ability to overcome them. And silence, while often viewed as a form of retreat, can be the ultimate act of strength that allows you to face the world with unwavering resolve. One of the greatest struggles a creator or leader faces is pressure to meet expectations, pressure to perform, and the pressure to explain yourself. The world wants answers, and it wants them immediately. But those who build in silence do so with a quiet determination that shields them from these external demands. They understand that the most powerful form of resistance is silence in action. When you're not constantly talking about your goals, you're not inviting that pressure into your life. You're focused on execution, on doing the work that matters, without the distraction of external opinions. This allows you to build resilience, as you're not dependent on validation from others. You understand that true strength comes from within, and silence is the space where you can nurture that inner strength. Walt Disney, for instance, faced massive obstacles and doubts throughout his journey. His vision was so unique and unprecedented that many people laughed at him. But Disney didn't run around explaining his ideas to the world. He stayed silent, kept working, and built his empire with a clear vision, resilient in the face of every setback. It wasn't until Disneyland was fully operational that the world saw his idea come to life. In silence, he built his resilience and showed the world the power of quiet determination. Similarly, J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection before Harry Potter was published. The world didn't know her story, nor did they believe in it. Yet, Rowling didn't seek validation from others. She kept writing, kept creating, and built her world of magic and imagination in solitude and silence. Her resilience wasn't born from constant chatter but from her ability to trust the process and keep pushing forward, regardless of the world's doubts. When you build in silence, you protect your energy. You aren't wasting it on conversations that lead nowhere. You aren't using up your emotional reserves trying to convince others of your potential. Instead, you're preserving your energy for what matters, the work itself. And this creates the foundation of resilience. Every small action, every bit of progress made in silence, adds another layer of strength to your character. True resilience is built on focus and commitment to your vision. The more you talk, the more diluted your commitment becomes. Every word you speak opens the door for doubt and distractions. Silence closes those doors, allowing you to focus solely on your goals. When you speak less, you act more, and each action taken builds your resilience for the long road ahead. It's in this space of silence that you can truly process failure, learn from setbacks, and build an unwavering resolve. Success is not a straight line, it's a series of twists and turns, challenges and moments of doubt. But with resilience, you keep moving forward, no matter how many times you fall. And when you build in silence, each failure becomes a lesson, not a setback. A key part of resilience is the ability to trust the process, even when things don't look the way you imagined. The more you talk, the more you risk sharing your doubts with others. The moment you let doubt out of your mind and into the world, you lose control over it. But when you keep your plans and thoughts to yourself, you retain the power to make them a reality. You can shape your own journey without the pressure of outside influence. And that is the power of resilience born in silence. Take a look at Steve Jobs and the early days of Apple. Jobs didn't share every step of his vision with the public. He kept his ideas under wraps until the product was ready for the world. Even as Apple struggled in its early days, Jobs stayed focused on execution. He was building silently, ensuring that when his creations were finally unveiled, they were undeniable. And it was this silent resilience that allowed Apple to change the world. In silence, you build a fortress of belief, a foundation that can withstand the inevitable challenges ahead. As you continue moving forward without sharing every step, you build the resilience to keep going, even when others doubt you, even when your own doubts creep in. The work will speak for itself when the time is right, and it will be so much more powerful because it was forged in the quiet, in the silence of execution. As we come to the final part of this journey, it's time to reflect on the most powerful truth of all: action speaks louder than words. We've discussed the importance of silence, resilience, and focus, but now we must understand the most crucial aspect of it all: results. When you stop talking and start building in silence, you are setting the stage for something powerful, undeniable results. Results that don't need explanation, don't need justification, and don't require validation from the world. The world will see them, and they will speak for you, louder than any words ever could. In a world where everyone has an opinion, where everyone is ready to comment and critique, true success lies in quiet execution. It is in the actions you take when no one is looking, the work you do when no one is applauding. This is where your true potential resides, and it's in silence where that potential is realized. Results, not words, are what truly build your legacy. Consider Elon Musk. He didn't spend years talking about colonizing Mars. He didn't spend his time telling the world what SpaceX was going to achieve. Instead, he spent his time in private, working relentlessly, overcoming failure after failure until he finally launched rockets into space, making history. The results spoke for themselves. His silence and determination created the foundation for an incredible success that no one could deny. And Oprah Winfrey, before becoming the media mogul she is today, Oprah faced years of struggle and doubt. She didn't shout about her dreams. She worked, tirelessly and in silence, with a commitment to becoming the best. Oprah didn't need to explain herself to anyone. Her results, her accomplishments, and the millions of lives she's touched spoke for her. In the end, it was her actions that defined her, not the words she spoke. When you work in silence, you avoid the distractions of external opinions. You aren't inviting judgment into your life, and you aren't losing energy by defending your dreams to others. You are focused solely on your goal, on the steps it takes to reach it, and most importantly, on achieving it. The world doesn't need to hear about your vision until it's fully realized. They'll understand it when they see it. The mistake most people make is thinking that talking about their goals will help them achieve them. They believe that if they announce their plans, they will be held accountable. But what they don't realize is that premature talk weakens their resolve. It shifts the focus from doing to impressing, from creating to explaining. And in the end, it's the creators, the builders, who thrive, not the talkers. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players in history, didn't spend his time boasting about his potential. He didn't waste energy telling people he was going to be great. Instead, he put in the hours of practice, worked on his skills relentlessly, and when the time came, he delivered results that left the world in awe. He let his game do the talking. His silence in preparation was what led to the immense success and legendary career he built. Actions over words, always. Similarly, Serena Williams didn't spend years telling the world how good she was going to be. She didn't talk about her future victories. She worked tirelessly in silence. She trained with dedication, focused on improving every day, and let her results speak for her. And when she stepped onto the court, her actions did the talking. The world saw her greatness. This principle extends beyond sports, beyond business, beyond fame. It applies to everyone. Success is not about what you say, it's about what you do. The power of silence is the power of execution, the ability to stay quiet, focused, and determined, until you have the results to prove it. When you stop talking about your goals, when you protect your vision from premature exposure, you gain the ability to build without distraction. You gain the ability to work consistently, to overcome obstacles without needing the approval of others, and to rise above the noise. And when the time comes to share your results, you don't need to explain. Your actions will speak for you. Ultimately, success is a matter of execution. You don't need to impress others with your plans. You impress them with your results. And the best way to achieve that is by working in silence, focusing on what matters, and letting the outcomes of your efforts serve as your loudest statement. Summary of key takeaways. Results speak louder than words. Your actions will ultimately define your legacy, not the words you speak. Premature talk weakens resolve. Talking too much before executing shifts your focus away from the work itself. True success is built in silence. Stop announcing your plans, and let your results do the talking when the time comes. Focus on execution, not validation, build in silence, and when you're ready, let your success speak for itself. You are now armed with the knowledge that silence is your ally, and results are the ultimate form of communication. From this moment on, let your actions create the life you desire, without seeking approval or validation. The world will see your success, and they will be left in awe.